Welcome to The Artist Matters. I'm Alex Rudy. Each episode features an artist sharing their creative journey, their origins, what inspires them, their process, and offering up a little inspiration, motivation, and advice to help you on your creative journey. Whether you're doing it for fun or looking to make a living, this show will help you on your journey and let the world know your art matters. Hello, one and all. Welcome back to The Artist Matters. It's me, Alex Rudy. And we're rounding out September. Yes, it goes by quick. It does go by quick. But gearing up for one of the most imaginative months, October, with Halloween coming. And people are already decorating. I need to get on the ball. Been looking at a lot of do-it-yourself videos. That's been fun. Learning all these little techniques and things from such creative people. I love seeing it. It is incredible and inspiring and hauntingly cool. Enjoy it mucho. Well, let's get into today's episode. And we have another guest to thank for today's guest. One of my previous guests, Sam Kimberly, recommended this artist to me. And we connected, and here we are. Thanks, Sam. Well, today we have a multifaceted artist. She paints, she does assemblage. She's an art instructor, she's a life coach, she's a podcaster. She does so much, and we have her here. Her name is Racquel Keller. She has always been into several art forms since as far back as she can remember. Not just sticking to one, but whatever inspires her and whatever moves her to create, whatever it is. She did earn her Bachelor of Science in Graphic Design with a concentration in Fine Arts from the American University. But she was always drawn to the fine arts. The graphic design didn't work for her. And for 15 years, she wasn't working in the arts at all. She was working in a law firm. One of those things, you're looking to make some money, and someone says, we got a job opening, and you take it, and you're making money, and, you just kind of do the art on the side, but she felt the calling. She was watching a program on TV about artists, and it really moved her, so she made the decision to cut the ties from the law firm and take the leap into the arts. And it was a good decision. She has become an art instructor. She even works in an art museum. She's moved her way up. Being around all that art, feeling that inspiration and energy. She even tells of how she became an artist in residence and what that means. And how she also became an artist in residence in France for a few weeks. She also is something I'm familiar with. A podcaster. She hosts her show Pure Fire Creatives, focusing on women in the arts and sharing their stories. And she also reveals, out of the many creative outlets that she loves to do, which one does she lean towards the most. So it's a lot, and it's a really good conversation. I'm glad we connected. Once again, a few audio glitches here and there, but not too bad. That's what the power of editing is all about. We still got so much more to share with you. So without further ado, let's get into this and enjoy my chat with Racquel Keller. All right, let's welcome to the show Racquel. Hello.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being on. Always love meeting new artists. Hailing from the Maryland area.
I am indeed. I'm near NASA.
That's good. Were you born and raised there?
I was actually born in Fairfax, Virginia. So not too far. Lived most of my life. I moved around a lot in Virginia growing up, and then ended up going to school in DC, and then when I went to buy a house, I bought in Maryland.
Okay, making your way up in that area.
That's right.
So as a young little Racquel, were you always a creative type?
Yes, always. Starting with mud pies when I was 3.
The infamous mud pies.
Mm-hmm.
And then what did you graduate to?
Well, let's see. I did a lot of drawing really early on. Like 4 or 5, I would draw.
What did you draw?
Then oh gosh, my favorite thing to draw was Snoopy characters. I drew them constantly, and then then I graduated to drawing my stuffed animals. And and so, but yeah, like a maker or like a tinkerer, like one of my favorite memories is of being with my older sister in our driveway, and we would play like perfume scientist. Like we would get all of these things from like roses and grass in the driveway, and we'd bottle them up, and surprisingly some of them actually like smelled decent. So anything where I could put something together I loved.
Were you like into Legos and Tinker Toys or any of those things?
Oh yeah, like I loved any of that kind of stuff. Like I like anything as probably starting when I was like 10 or 11, like anything that came into our had to be put together was put together by me. Like my parents didn't want anything to do with it, so anything that came in, it was I would sit down and figure it out and put it togetger.
So the parents weren't into it, but were they encouraging of your little creativity?
Oh, yeah. No, I would say especially of putting together things in the house, they were definitely, if they didn't have to do that, that was great. But yeah, I always had painting supplies. They were always willing to put me in art classes and things like that. And so, I mean, my dad, is a classically trained pianist. And so we grew up like hearing music in the house and things like that. And my uncle was an animator. And so it's not something that was too unfamiliar to have somebody who wanted to do that kind of stuff.
Did you have any desire to play any musical instruments yourself?
Oh yeah, I played the flute for a while, and it was just one of those things where so my dad became a minister when I was around 11, and so yeah. it was quite a change from prior life, but and so at a certain point I couldn't afford to do both flute and art because they both cost money, and so I had to choose, and so I chose art.
You chose wisely.
Thank you. I think so. I still have my flute though, just in case.
Oh, okay. Do you still have some of your old drawings from when you were little?
Oh yeah, I sure do. I do.
Me too.
Yeah. Yeah, there's one on my drafting table that's across the room because I was going through something, and I did a virtual open studio. And so I thought, well, I'll just show these people this drawing I did when I was like 15, and I'm sure they enjoyed it.
You got to start somewhere,
That's right.
It is fun to look back at those. Like, wow, I drew it like that. Okay.
Yeah.
So, what were you leaning more towards? Was it painting, drawing as you got older?
Well, I kind of enamored of anything. Like, so I would, anything that would sort of feed my curiosity, I could easily go down the rabbit hole with. And so even today, like, there are a lot of artists that will only do like one type of thing, and, or at least, that's what they're putting out there. They may work in a lot of different, mediums, but I tend to work in a number of different mediums. because I think of them as sort of the way somebody might know multiple languages. I think that the different mediums are like languages. And so sometimes, have you ever heard somebody, I'm a life coach, and in our class at one point, one of the gentlemen his native language was other than English. And I'm just trying not to give out his personal information is all I'm doing. Okay. And he did his pitch, like his elevator pitch, sort of thing, in English. And it was a little, stilted and tight. And then so we were like, can you just do it in your native tongue? Like it doesn't matter that we don't know what it is, just go. And it was like fire. Like it was just the most beautiful thing. And you had no idea what he was saying, but you felt it. And so I think that's the thing, is that when you pick a medium that is going to tell your story in the most authentic way. And so for me, on one day, depending on what I'm trying to communicate, it might be a painting. On another day, it might be an assemblage. And so it's just basically, what is the story and how can I tell it the best?
That is great. That's really great. I never thought of it as that way, as like languages. Food for thought. Well, you did go to school.
I did.
You went to one called the American University.
I did.
Where's that located?
That's in Washington, D.C.
Washington, D.C.
So I'll be honest, I went to 3 universities, I think. Yeah. So I went to Rochester Institute of Technology first. Then I ended up dropping out of that pretty quickly. And then I got bored at home because I was like, ooh, this minimum wage thing, I'm going to have to live with my parents forever. And so I started going to Tidewater Community College. And then finally I ended up at American University because I was like, I need to go all in and I need to do this thing and I just need to get a degree.
And were you majoring in art?
Graphic design and fine arts, yes.
So how was the program at this university?
I enjoyed it. I had some wonderful professors. I will say, I think I should have probably just done fine art, because when I got out of school, I realized very quickly that graphic design was not for me. And I should have known, because when I was in school, like if I had a sniffle, I would not go to a graphic design class. If I was on my deathbed, I would go to a fine art class. Like I would not miss those for anything. Like I could have been on a hospital gurney and I would have said, roll me in.
So, you graduated, then what?
I did. At least I think I did, yeah.
The degrees buried under some of that stuff there, right?
Yeah, I know, right? This is chaos.
Yeah, I know. I understand. So you have this degree, and what do you do with it? Does anything happen in the arts?
In the arts, I will say, I focused on graphic design for career. I very quickly, as I said, decided that wasn't for me. I think I don't think I even worked in it for a year. I was like, I do not like this. And it was largely because, and rightfully so, that, clients want to, their input. And unfortunately, school doesn't really train you, I'll say, to do client service. So when if a school really wanted to train people for the business world, they'd be like,